Hello everyone. Today I'm explaining a Japanese post-apocalyptic action film titled Attack on Titan. Spoilers ahead. Over 100 years ago, giant humanoid monsters known as Titans suddenly appear on Earth. They eat any humans they come into contact with. Humans are no longer at the top of the food chain, and their numbers quickly decrease. Even after many civilizations are wiped out, humans find no way to fight the Titans. So, for safety, they decide to limit their freedom. The surviving humans build huge concentric walls around a region taller than the Titans to prevent invasion. Two circular walls are constructed, one inside the other, to ensure double protection. The outer space is called the outer zone, and the inner space is known as the inner zone. Within these walls they live peaceful lives. However, these walls do not guarantee protection. Even 100 years later, people still live in fear of the Titans. The protagonist of this movie is a young man named Eren Yeager who lives in the Outer District. He dreams of one day venturing outside the walls to explore the world. He often boasts to his friends, Armin and Mikasa, about the ocean in the external world. One day, they decide to go to the border, attempting to climb the wall to the other side. As they approach the border, the group is awestruck by the size of the wall. Armin and Mikasa are skeptical about the idea that Titans might still be outside, but Eren insists that it's been 100 years since anyone has seen them, and they likely died since there are no humans to eat. Their conversation is interrupted when the border patrol arrests them for being too close to the wall. Eren gets enraged when the police try to apprehend his friends. He begins to fight them, completely ignoring the fact he could be executed for his actions. Just then, Captain Suda approaches them, asking the soldiers to step back. He promises to personally punish the group and sends the soldiers away. Suda understands Eren's longing for freedom, but criticizes his actions as childish. He then informs the group about a military method to explore beyond the walls. He explains that the government already sends some soldiers outside to check the situation, so Eren doesn't need to put his life in danger. Suddenly, a loud explosion startles everyone. An earthquake follows and the ground shakes. The group retreats with the violent movement of the wall. Then, a huge Titan is visible on the other side. It screams and starts kicking the wall. The patrolling personnel watch in terror, unable to take any action to stop the creature. The Titan finally breaks through the wall and disappears in a cloud of smoke. Everything goes silent for a few seconds. Then, many such creatures are seen entering the city. The soldiers attack the monsters with cannonballs, but it hardly harms them. They seem to have strong regenerative abilities, as wounds from the cannons heal quickly. Soon the Titans reach the soldiers and start devouring them one by one. One soldier even commits suicide, claiming it's better than dying at the hands of the monsters. Everyone starts running as the Titans destroy homes and grab as many people as possible. Armin gets lost in the crowd, while Eren and Mikasa run towards a church in town where people are seeking shelter. Mikasa notices a child on the ground about to be trampled by the fleeing crowd. She goes to save the child, but gets separated from Eren in the process. Eren is dragged into the church, but people soon shut the entrance, not allowing anyone else in. Eren watches from the church window as his dearest friend is approached by a female Titan with terrifying teeth. Mikasa knows there's nothing to save her now, so she bows her head, accepting her fate. Just then, a massive explosion pushes everyone in the church backward. When Eren looks outside again, both Mikasa and the Titan are gone. He runs outside searching for Mikasa but finds the ruins of what was once his home city. As Eren turns, he sees monsters tearing apart the church, devouring every person inside. He wanders in despair through the destroyed city. Fast forward 2 years. All survivors of the last Titan attack are now relocated to the inner city. The military now plans to reclaim the outer region. After a large influx of refugees into the inner sector and the abandonment of the fertile farmlands of the outer region, food shortages start to cause deaths. If the situation continues, everyone will eventually starve. Their only option for survival is to take over the outer region and repair the broken walls. The head of the military force is named Kubal. He gives a heartfelt speech to the soldiers and calls up a girl named Hang to the stage. She is the head of the troops' weapons. Hang showcases a new omnidirectional mobility gear, claiming it will help them against the Titans. But her attack on her own people is accidental. Then we see Eren and Armin among the military crowd. It turns out both survived the attack 2 years ago and have now joined the military. Eren wants to take revenge on the Titans for killing the woman he loved, Mikasa. Captain Suda also survives the attack, but has lost the will to live. He is now a food merchant in the army and an alcoholic. The soldiers plan to invade the outer region at night when the Titans are asleep. They want to close the passages that the Titans use to invade the city, so no new Titans can come in. Then they can kill the remaining ones and reclaim their territory. Hang instructs everyone to move slowly and not make any noise, as the monsters are sensitive to sound. The entrance to the outer region opens, and the army drives out in military vans. As they move forward, the captain suddenly orders them to stop, sensing movement ahead. The soldiers slowly look around and find cows wandering in the city. One of them, named Hyana, hears a baby crying and decides to investigate, putting her life in danger. Eren follows the girl, and they both enter a destroyed building. The closer they get, the clearer the crying becomes. Suddenly, a sticky liquid drops on Hyana. They both look up and see a massive baby Titan eating a person, and they are both terrified. The baby falls in front of them and starts crying. They run outside in fear. The soldiers start panicking because of the noise, but the captain orders them to stay quiet and not attract any Titans. Suddenly, a massive hand appears from nowhere and grabs the captain. The Titans wake up, and now the soldiers are in great danger. As a massive monster follows them, Eren and Hyana run towards the crowd. They start running back to the vehicles, but Commander Kubal senses danger and escapes with the vehicles and weapons. Hang shouts from the vehicle for everyone to head to a nearby abandoned building. The soldiers run towards the building, but are surrounded by Titans before they can escape. They lose all hope when suddenly, a Titan killer and scouting squad leader named Shikishima appears. He uses a swinging device to kill the Titans in midair, hitting their weak spot behind the neck. Shikishima has a skilled female partner just like him. The killed Titans fall to the ground and evaporate. Eren finally sees Shikishima's friend and is surprised to find out it's Mikasa. However, Mikasa doesn't acknowledge her old friend and instead smiles at Shikishima. The two then head to the building, with the soldiers following them. It turns out Commander Kubal has appointed Shikishima to assist him on the mission. Shikishima saved Mikasa's life that day, and even taught her how to fight against the Titans. Since then, they have been living as partners in the world of Titans. Mikasa has come to terms with the harsh reality of life and doesn't want to associate with people from her past life. Later, one of the soldiers accuses Eren of attracting the Titans earlier, putting everyone's life in danger. The two fight, but are quickly stopped by Mikasa. Shikishima asks Eren's name and shows his superiority by chatting with Eren privately. Eren tells Shikishima that he wants to learn to kill the Titans and blames the monsters for trapping them. Shikishima mocks him, claiming it's the humans who have trapped themselves, not the Titans. They are too afraid to fight, and their cowardice has led them to their current situation. He then provokes Eren, calling him a coward. When Eren denies being one, Shikishima challenges him to overcome his fear and fight the Titans for his freedom. Eren seeks out Mikasa and finds her playing a broken piano. He tries to reconnect with her, but Mikasa seems indifferent to his efforts. She says that she became a different person when the baby she cared for died. Mikasa then reveals a bite mark on her, showing the damage inflicted upon her by a Titan's attack. They are interrupted by Shikishima, who hand-feeds Mikasa an apple, expressing his affection for her. Heartbroken, Eren runs outside and screams in agony. The only love he had, whom he wanted to avenge against the Titans, isn't the same person anymore. At this moment, Hyana approaches Eren and consoles him. As the two return inside the building and converse, another couple nearby is getting intimate. Emotionally, Hyana tells Eren about her daughter who has already returned to the city center. Then, she tries to seduce Eren, forcing herself onto him. However, they are interrupted when a massive eye peers through the window. It suddenly drags Hyana away with its mouth, giving them little time to react. Eren watches as his friend is consumed by the monster. Many other Titans approach the building. Shikishima, Mikasa, and other soldiers gear up to fight against the Titans. Shikishima and Mikasa manage to kill most of them, but many also get injured since it's their first time in combat. In the long run, explosives are the only assets that can help them fend off the Titans, so Commander Kubal asks everyone to protect them. Meanwhile, the couple who was intimate earlier is attacked, with the man dying in the encounter. The woman is devastated by her lover's death and vows revenge on those responsible. Then, we see a person load a vehicle with explosives and drive away. The woman, who just lost her lover, plans to sacrifice herself. She jumps into the car and ignites the explosives. She takes the wheel and drives towards the Titan that killed her lover. When she crashes into the Titan, the explosion blows off its legs. However, the attack isn't effective as the Titan's legs regrow quickly. The only way to kill them is to target their weak points. Eren still stands on top of the building, not yet assisting others in fighting off the Titans. He recalls Shikishima's words from earlier and attacks them using the gear. He struggles initially, but with a bit of guidance from Shikishima, he successfully makes his first kill. However, he loses his balance and flies directly into another Titan's mouth. The Titan bites off one of his legs, but Eren leaps to the rooftop to save himself. Suddenly, a Titan grabs Armin, who tries to flee. Others try to save him as the Titan is about to consume him. Eren, choked with emotion, still pushes himself to help his friend. He drags himself to the edge of the building, jumps into the monster's mouth, and pries it open. Armin is about to slide down the creature's throat but gets rescued. However, in the process, Eren falls into the Titan's stomach. He lies among several bodies, one of which is Hyana's. Meanwhile, on the rooftop, Mikasa and the others are present. Armin informs her of Eren's demise. Mikasa doesn't hide her emotions and is evidently devastated by the news. In her rage, she attacks the Titans, killing each one of them. However, her gear runs out of fuel mid-air, causing her to fall. The Titan that had previously consumed Eren approaches Mikasa, ready to kill her. But suddenly, a hand emerges from the creature's mouth. Soon after, its body explodes, revealing another Titan inside. This newly formed Titan fights its own kind and kills them one by one. The surviving soldiers watch in awe, realizing the new Titan is actually Eren. After killing everyone, the Titan menacingly approaches the building. Eren seems to forget who he is and is killing everyone in his sight. The soldiers retreat in fear, with only Mikasa shouting Eren's name. However, he doesn't stop and goes for her. Looking at her, he slowly regains his memories and begins to recognize Mikasa. He then falls to the ground, starting to evaporate like the other Titans. Mikasa cuts open his weak point, and the human Eren emerges from the creature. To everyone's surprise, with the help of the creature's regenerative abilities, his leg grows back. The last Titan finally disappears, and Eren slowly regains consciousness. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like to support the channel. Thank you for watching.